Sometimes memories are just not enough.
When a northern New Mexico man lost his mom to an illness 2 years ago, he was devastated. But soon, the sleepless nights turned into inspiration. What he built for his mom at the site of her grave is truly a labor of love and something you just have to see. News 13's Tim Maestas has the story.
Among the tombstones in this tiny cemetery, in the shadow of the Sacred Heart Church in Nambe.
To me, it gives me a peace of mind.
Donald Herrera works at the gravesite of his mom.
I ended up just making this for her. I didn't know what else to do.
Guadalupe Herrera passed away 2 years ago in the same town where she grew up and raised a family. Months after surviving the West Nile virus in 2007, she got home and got sick again after falling and breaking her hip. Despite all the hope and all the prayers from family members, she did not survive. On April 14, 2008, Guadalupe passed away at home with her family at her side. Among them was Donald, the youngest of her 13 kids. He had spent more than 20 years taking care of her, and losing his mom was a devastating loss.
When she passed away, we all took it very hard. But my youngest brother, Donald, being the youngest and being the closest to her, really took it hard. He wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat. And then one morning he woke up and he told me that he wanted to build my mom a church in the cemetery. I says, Donald, how can you possibly build a church in the cemetery, you know? And I couldn't see the vision, but he could.
Now we can see it too. A typical tombstone just wasn't enough.
I always told my mom if anything would happen, I was going to do something for her special, and this is what I came out with. I have marble on the walls.
With wooden floors, gutters to water the flowers below, a tiny altar, and tiny stained glass windows. It's a small-scale version of the Sacred Heart Church, a place Guadalupe loved. Guadalupe's connection to this church goes beyond what her son built on top of her grave. When the church burned down in the 1940s, she made some of the adobes to rebuild it. And when the Catholic Church shut it down in the 1970s, she helped to get it back open.
I remember when we were little, about 6 or 7, if it snowed and we didn't have a vehicle to come into church, we walked 2 miles in the snow to come to church. My mom loved this church.
It took me a while, but I'm really proud of what I did.
For Donald, rebuilding his mom's beloved church was the perfect way to show exactly how much she meant to him, and it was a way to help him heal. It's still a work in progress.
I wanted to look antique. That's what I wanted to do.
You still miss her?
Yes, I do. But I know that she's in a better place now.
Even though she's gone, Donald still gets to feel like he's taking care of his mom, but now in a different way, making sure everything is just right.
I think that she's really happy with me. I know that she's going to be, she's loving it from up there from heaven, I'm sure. Tim Maestas, KRQE News 13.
The work on the tiny church continues. Donald recently installed a solar panel on the roof to power a set of lights that shine on the memorial as soon as the sun sets. For a closer look at the gravesite and the story behind it, go to krqe.com.